In today's video, we're going to look at the physics concept called work and how machines help us do work. Keep in mind here that this is very different from what people consider for a paycheck. Like I teach, that's not necessarily considered physics work, or maybe you might be thinking of doing some chores and you get paid for that. Not always is that work. So in physics, work is force times displacement. Keeping in mind here that these are two physics quantities that have direction, and in order for them to qualify as physics work, they must be in the same direction. For example, if you lift something up, the force you apply is upward and the displacement is also upward, so it's considered work. But let's say you already have something lifted up, that force that you're applying is upward, and then you decide to carry it horizontally. Well, that displacement is not in the direction of the force, so it's not here considered physics work. I think you might get tired by it. A great example would be somebody who works as a server at a restaurant carrying around a tray of dishes. That would be considered work according to their paycheck, but here we don't have the force and the displacement in the same direction, so it's not considered work. In addition, if let's say you apply force and it doesn't cause a displacement, it's also not considered work. So I remember working at Hardee's when I was 16 and my boss said, "We're not paying you to lean on the counter." That's not considered work for Hardee's. It's also not considered physics work because it doesn't actually cause a displacement either. So keep in mind you have to have these two things together moving in the same direction in order for it to be considered work. So in our example today, we're going to look at an inclined plane, aka a ramp. So here is a good look at our ramp. It's just a wooden board that I use to hold my paper when I draw. And you can see it's leaned up against an ottoman. This is where Rita sleeps during class. So the work that we're looking at here is that toy truck on the ground. If we were just to straight lift it up to the ottoman, we could calculate the weight of it and multiply by the height of the ottoman. That would give us the work to just lift. Now if we use the ramp, sorry for the shakiness, we would need to know the length of the ramp. That would be the hypotenuse of a right triangle. And then we need to know the force of sliding that little car up the ramp. To calculate work, we're going to need both force and displacement. And I'm going to measure force using a spring scale. So the reading on the spring scale here will give us our force measurements. And as you can see, I'm just hanging the car by the spring scale. So this is giving me the weight of the car, which is the force required to lift up the car. And we'll use that when we're calculating work of just lifting the car straight up to the top of the ottoman. So according to the scale there, it's not quite 3.2. Each of the lines down is 0.2. So it looks like it's 3.1. So I'll record 3.1. So that's the force for lifting the car up, which is the weight of the car. Now, if I use the ramp, I think everyone understands that the force reading will be less, but we need to know how much is the actual reading. So I'm just going to, put reindeer inside the car again. Just put the car on the ramp, and I'll just tilt the camera over to the spring scale there. So you can see that the car is rolling on the ramp. I got rid of friction by using wheels there. That's really nice because that's always a problem with machines. And you can see the force reading is less than 3. I know it's not quite in focus there, but it's 2 newtons. The final thing that we need to do is calculate work. You can see that I've inserted the force readings from our spring scale. So the force for lifting was more than the force for sliding up the ramp. And that makes sense because the ramp supports some of the weight of the car. In addition, the distances or displacements are also different. So when you lift the car up, you're only going to the height of the ramp, versus when you use the actual ramp itself, you're using the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So you can see the distance is a bit longer. So here's our final result. The work for lifting 3.1 newtons times 0.42 meters is 1.302 joules. And the work for using the ramp is 2 newtons times 0.66 meters, which gives us a work of 1.32 joules. These numbers aren't significantly different. They're mathematically what I got out of the calculator, but honestly, we're really not that certain about 2 places beyond or behind the decimal. So we're not that far off from each other. So how can I make that statement? Well, I know from measuring the spring scale, I could only measure to 1 decimal place. And when I was measuring the heights, I didn't show this on camera because I'm having trouble with my camera tripod. There was definitely some squishiness in the carpet and in the ottoman itself, so that was a difficult one to measure. So honestly, these really are very close to each other. And if we look at the law of conservation of energy, they should be close to each other. They should be exactly the same. But because we're doing real physics here, there can be issues with our measurements from the spring scale reading to the ruler itself. And then also something I mentioned in the lab, which is friction. When I'm lifting it up, I'm just moving it through the air, so there's not a lot of friction there. But when I'm sliding it up the ramp, we're going to see more friction there, and that's why we see a bit more work in sliding it up the ramp.